My beautiful HVAC community, it is me, Mr. Robinson, aka the Test Man. Everything that is HVAC, baby. And today we got a good one today. Let's see what the talking point is going to be today. Let me read that for y'all. Okay, this is pretty cool right here. How to troubleshoot HVAC like a pro, service calls, and common issues. So let's talk about that. First, I would say how to diagnose stuff like a pro when you go to service calls and common issues is the first how the right tools and also what, ladies and gentlemen, we always talk about this. The multimeter. Yes, you have to have your multimeter to check stuff. Most of the times when you're dealing with a service call, dealing with HVAC, everybody thinks the refrigerant is the major thing that's always the problem. And that's not true. A lot of y'all veterans that been on the job and been in the field know a thing or two, knows that most of the time it's going to be electrical. So things of that nature right there. So your meter is most important thing to have a proper diagnosis of things. You know what I'm saying? Just like when you go to the doctor office, you don't see that doctor with certain things. He don't have that little thing around his neck. What is that? I don't know, to check your heart and all that stuff. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know. He don't have the certain tools. You be like, the doctor's coming there with a clipboard and a pen, and he like, hey, this is what's going on. You're like, oh, are you going to diagnose my body? So you had to have the right equipment for so. And also, I would say some proper gauges, some new gauges, not those old manifolds that y'all used to have. You need to go and, really have some nice digital gauges that also is upgraded to the A2Ls with the no refrigerants. So yeah, meter gauges, and also I would say how to diagnose a unit is knowing Sematics, people. A lot of y'all technicians, y'all getting in the field, and y'all don't know how to read Sematics, and that's not good. It is very easy to do. Might do a video about there or something about, how I read Sematics and how I break it down when I'm looking at, a complete system. So knowing those things right there, A to Z, meter, proper gauges, knowing how to read Sematics, and also knowing what calls what, knowing what component controls what. Don't be a part changer. A lot of y'all guys, y'all just go to the service truck or y'all just go to the shop and y'all just grab parts and y'all just throw it on the wall to see if it works and see if it sticks and see if it fixes the thing. That's not what you do. Knowing what a transformer does, you should know what that does right there. How it converts high voltage into low voltage. So when you're not getting low voltage, you track the transformer out. Knowing what a contactor does, how a contactor lets that outside condenser or the heat pump engage the cut on. So you're checking that with your meter to know whether that contactor is bad, and that's why that outside unit is not coming on. Knowing how a compressor operates, whether it's an overload, that you touch the top of the compressor and it's hot to the touch, and you're like, ooh, that thing's about to burn out right there as an overload. Let me cool it off. Or wait a minute, just check it to see if that compressor kicks on before I put a hard start or a capacitor on that unit. Knowing what a capacitor does, knowing things, all the internal equipment, where parts that goes on the equipment. You know what I'm saying? Those are the things that will help you diagnose a system. Knowing a dirty coil, a change the filter, but the coil needs to be clean. The evaporator coil, just knowing blockage. Do they have a damper in there and the damper is closed and that's why it's freezing up because it's not allowing airflow? Just knowing what everything does in that complete system. That's how you diagnose things. And that's how you're going to be the excellent tech that I know you're going to be, is just knowing a thing or two about that system. Read up on your parts. I don't care if you a rookie to the game or a veteran to the game, because even when you're a veteran, it's new things that come out every day. You have new control boards, you have new defaults boards and how they're structured and how they're made up. And, certain things have a different delay on that. We all worked on systems. We're like, why is it taking forever to cut on? But did you read the fine print? That you see it's had a 15-minute delay, a 20-minute delay, a 30-minute delay, and that could be a problem. So just knowing the intake of that system, the overall completion of that system, knowing, how that gas furnace work is that, glow tube, the igniter, what else? Reducing motor, all those things and how they function and how they work. And then you could properly diagnose what is going on. You could go at it and assess the situation and say, oh, where it's doing this, it's freezing up, but it's not low on refrigerant. It just have blockage. The damper is closed. The coil is dirty. Several things like that. Or, you don't need a compressor. Just a compressor out in overload for whatever reason. It could have been low on refrigerant. It could have been overgrown vegetation around the actual condenser where it couldn't breathe properly and fill in proper airflow, things of that nature right there. So knowing the complete system, the components, what do they do for that system? Knowing how to read Sematics, and always, and I repeat this, always have your multimeter, because there's a lot of things when we troubleshoot could go left, and it could be the smallest things. It could be a little 5 fuse. It could be a float switch. It could be just a little thing. So when you know how that system works and how it's broke down internally, you could properly diagnose that, get the client taken care of, whether it's an AC call, whether it's a heat call, and have a great day when you know and you have knowledge. So that's what I'll say. Always have your meter, and don't be that guy that want to assess things with your eyes and your ears. Oh, it sounds like this and it looks like this, or it looked like the board was burnt out. That don't mean the board is burnt out. Don't be a part changer. Like, use that meter, check to see where you have 120. You know what I'm saying? Or you have 240, or you have low voltage. Check those things out. Use your tools and check things out before you just go to pulling wires and replacing things. And that's how I would say you properly diagnose a system in service call. And the last thing is get information from your client. It's been several times you could sit there and ask the client and say, hey, is it cooling during the day, not cooling at night? Is it doing this? Is it doing that? Do you have these clothes in the corner that blocks your return vent, and that's why your unit don't have proper airflow? Assess the situation, look around, see what's going on in that home, and question that person in that home to see what's going on. Get as much information as you can to assess the situation. And I promise you, you'll be good to go, and you'll be able to diagnose any situation, and you'll be the greatest tech you can be. So as always, let's elevate. Well, let me start that back over. I said that wrong, because we always got to do it right over here. What we got to do first, ladies and gentlemen, let's put one foot forward. Let's elevate, let's motivate, and let's be the best technician for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go.